Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's Benedict here again from BJ Learn, and in this class, I want us to talk about data transformation. So, when we talk about data transformation, we mean a process of converting data from its raw or original format into a most usable structure or format for analysis. So, we transform data from its original form to a more usable structure or format. So the purpose for data transformation is to make data more suitable for analysis by restructuring, aggregating, or enriching it. So we transform data to make it more suitable for analysis. So we have various key activities when transforming data, of which we can talk about reshaping data. We can talk about data aggregation, and then we can also talk about creating new variables. We have also normalizing or scaling. We have encoding data, and then we have data integration. But in this class, I want us to concentrate more about reshaping data and then creating new variables. These are uh, or rather the other key activities will be discussed later in later classes to details. So in this class, we'll just concentrate on reshaping data and creating new variables as key activities in data transformation. So when I talk about reshaping data, I mean converting data between wide and long format. So you can have wide data or long uh, format data. So you want to convert the wide to long, or you want to convert the long format to the wide format. So let's try to do this by example. So first we'll try to get data. So so my data is within Excel workbook. So I'll connect with the Excel workbook. So I have this Excel workbook for data transformation. So by converting data from wide to long, or from long to wide, uh, we have the right terms in Power BI as unpivoting or pivoting data. So unpivoting is converting from wide to long, and pivoting is converting from long to wide. So let me choose this one for sales, the table for sales. And from this table, you can see a preview of sales by month. And then we also have the year. So each year has its own monthly sales from January to December. So you want to see how we can pivot, rather uh, and pivot this monthly sales of January to December to make the data long as opposed to it being wide. So I will click on transform. So this will take me to Power Query Editor. And then from here now you can see our query is sales, and then the preview here is what we have as a year, the column for year, and the monthly sales with the naming of January to December. So apparently we are assuming that the data is wide, so we want to unpivot the monthly sales so that they can come under one column. So we also have on the right hand side the query settings, which give us the properties name and the applied steps. So the applied steps will show us the steps that we followed to arrive at the resultant data that we feel suitable for analysis. So what I will do here, will select these columns for monthly sales from January to December. So I will start with January, then I will press the control button and click this at the monthly sales up to December. Then from here, under the transform tab, we have here transform. I will come here and where we have the unpivot columns. So I will click here under unpivot columns. I can click unpivot columns, or I can click unpivot other columns, or I can click unpivot only selected columns. So in my case, I want to unpivot the selected columns. So when I unpivot, you can see we have now three columns. We have the year column, we have the attribute, which is months, and then we have the value. So the values here is the sales of the monthly sales. So here we can change the values, the value column. We can change the text by double clicking on it and changing this one to sales. And then we'll double click again on this attribute text and change it to months. So apparently we have three columns as opposed to the many columns that we had. So by doing this, we have unpivoted the columns. So we've changed the data from wide to narrow, or from wide to long. So again, we can also unpivot uh, the columns. Rather, we can pivot the columns, meaning we can bring the monthly columns uh, to have each and every column with the head, with the head as month, and then under it will have the sales value. So again, now we can if we try to use the same table here that we have just unpivoted, we can do the pivoting. So here we'll just click these two columns, the months and sales, and then from here, instead of now clicking the unpivot columns, we have this command for pivot columns. So we want to the table to be wide as opposed to it being long. So we'll come here again and click pivot. So we are being asked use the names in the column cells to create new columns. So I want to use not sales, but I want to use months. Yes, use the name column cells to create new columns, which is okay. So I will click OK. So now when I click OK, you can see now the cells, the value of the cells uh, have been used as the column names, which is not we are looking for. So this was deliberate, just to tell you that you can always make an error by not using the right uh, column to pivot, so that you can have the right naming of the column. So what we'll do here, we'll cancel this pivot column, and then now we'll again come back and click pivot. So now we'll use so we are being told use the names in the column cells to create new columns. So we are not using the name cells to create new columns, but we just want to use the name months to create new columns. So what we'll do here, we will unclick, we'll only click highlight the months column, and then we'll come here and click pivot. So now you can see we are being told use the names in column months to create new columns. So here we'll use cells, column values. Value for the column will be sales, not years. So here I've chosen sales instead of the value year. So the value within each column will be under each column will be sales. So then I will click OK. So now you can see we've been taken back to where we came from. So we've pivoted the table to make it wide instead of being long. So we've said earlier that uh, converting a table from one format to the next format or the other means that we want the table format that is easy for analysis or that is suitable for specific analysis. So after having done that, now we have our unpivoted table or pivoted table. So we can come to this home tab and click close and apply so that the data can be loaded to our Power BI desktop. So this was deliberate. It was rather the unpivoting and the pivoting uh, of the tables was to show you how to transform data from one format to the next, or from wide to long, or from long to wide. So now again, we can also change transform data by having more variables, or creating more variables from a given data set. So first I will come back here to this Excel workbook. Now I want us to create a, a simple table. So the simple table here will create one column for numbers. So let's just write number, and the other column for date. So under date, we just want to create random dates. So we'll use is equal to, so it is random between. So you want to create random dates. So here we'll use date again. So date will be between a top and bottom date. So we want to start with 2020. So the bottom will be a month is one, and the date as well is one. So this is our bottom date, and then the top date will be year 2024. The month is 12th, and then the date will be 31st. So this we want to create a random dates. So here you want to create it up to, rather you want the dates up to maybe the 36th column. So these are random dates, they are not in order. And then from here you can number them. So let's save. So again I will come back here because we want to create different variables from a given data set. to transform it to a usable format that we can use for analysis. So I'll come here again and click get data, Excel workbook. Then I will go to this data transformation workbook. So I'm using new variables table. So you can see we have 3 columns, or rather we have 5 columns. I wonder why the column 3, 4, 5 is coming from. So let's just try to cancel and go back to the data set first. So when I come here, we only have these 2 tables. So let me just try to make this table the data set within a table by Control T. Then okay. So let me go back to our Power BI desktop. So we get data. Then we click Excel workbook. Then we connect to data transformation workbook. So let me see this table 1. I think table 1 is where we've just made the data within a table. So here we have two columns. So because we are doing data transformation, I will click transform. So the command transform take us to Power Query Editor. So now we have 2 columns, phone number and date. So we want to create more variables. By creating more variables, we are transforming this data to be to a more usable data set. So creating more variables means that we'll have more columns. So I want the columns for month and year separately. So I will come here and click on the transform tab. So I want to extract some data. So I will extract uh, instead of extracting, let me just try to say add column. So I want to add some 2 columns. So by adding column, let me see if I can add date. I want to add year. Let me see year end. This is not what we want. We just want year only, not so I'll do away with this step. Then I will come back here again. First I must select the date column, because that's where I want to create more variables from. To the basis of creating more variables. Then let me go to date. I want year only. So here you can see we have we've created another variable, which is another column with the years. Then I want to create another variable with months. So I will come again, click on this date, and click on the command date to give me various options. So I want month only. So this is month. So here we can see we have month in numbers, meaning the month in numbers. So the first one is April, the next one is February, and the other one is September. So let me see again what else we can do. Okay, let's assume these are the variables that we wanted to create, but I wanted to change this one to a different format. for months, but let's leave that for now. We'll do that in different classes when we delve into more data transformation in later chapters of, or rather in later classes of this uh, data transformation. So that was how to transform data from one form to the other by creating more variables. Then from here now we can go to home tab because we've created our data set in a more format that is easy for analysis. So we'll go back to home tab and click close and apply. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was all about data transformation, but we'll still do more about data transformation in later classes. So, thanks for being part of the class, and let's meet again in the next class when we talk about we'll talk about applied steps and combine and combining tables. So, thanks a lot for watching.